Can you guys hear me now? Hey, Louise. Yay, we have sound. I think we have sound. Hey, Deb. Hey, Ann. Woohoo! Okay, I now have to click another button for YouTube. I didn't have enough buttons to set up. Now I have to do another one for some reason. Once I did that, I'll give you guys a little sneak peek about on the new thing that I have to do here. Let's see. That's the new chat, and it's black. And this is my new window that I get to see what's going on in the chat. So, and when it changes, and it's a few minutes behind. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's it. Maybe I have two buttons to click now. Who knows? Hi, Sue. Hi, Dale. Hi, Cynthia. Dana. Lots of people coming in. Yay. But it shows everything is connected. That's good. Yay. It's just a new format, new layout, and I'm trying to get used to it. So if I fumble a little bit, guys, y'all just bear with me. They're kind of forcing it on us because when we go live now, it automatically goes to this new format. And we either have to click to change it back and then redo everything, or we just have to deal with the new. All right, let's go ahead and let me play the intro, guys, and we will get started. That intro takes about 30 seconds, and that'll put us right on time to get started because we have a lot of stuff to cover tonight. So we are going to be covering learning some things in Design Space. We are going to learn how to create new images from images or from shapes. We are going to learn how to put some fonts together to create an image. We're going to learn some pattern fill. We're going to learn about the angel policy and selling, and how to find fonts, which is a big thing for everybody. So let's get that intro going and we'll get started. Okay. Hi, Alice. And Sue's just dancing away to that music. She's going on vacay, so she's all excited. Okay, we've had several questions in the groups, and guys, some of you know that Facebook is making some changes, and they're monitoring our groups for violation of their community standards. So we have had to change some of our rules and stuff as well. Sometimes we have to do things we don't normally want to do, but we're just going to stay in compliance and keep our group without any violations. So I hope that nobody is upset over the stricter rules that we have, but they're necessary in order for us to keep a good group. So that being said, I wanted to cover a couple of things, and one of them is the angel policy, and one of them is, and this is just a quick little picture. You can see, can I use that picture? And guys, you can find this in the group files, Cricut Maker projects, and in Cricut crafting. I think it might be in the card group too, but if it's not, you guys let me know and I'll load it up. But if you go into the group and you go down to files, you will find this. Can I use that picture? And you can download it, you can print it off, you can upload it to Design Space like I have here, whatever you want to do, what makes you comfortable. But in that, it has a series of questions. If you have an image, this says picture, but images that you Google, that you find, all of that, it's the same thing. Count it as a picture, not an image or an SVG. The same rules apply to all of them. Okay, so when you go in here and you ask yourself this question and then you answer it yes or no, you're just going to follow the paths, and you will know if you can legally use that picture to sell. Okay, if you're hitting that no or that yellow area, probably, or what, you might want to rethink what you're doing, because we don't want anybody getting in trouble. Okay, and yes, as Jamie said, please be aware. Just because a post gets removed or flagged, it may not be us doing it now. As a matter of fact, somebody messaged me yesterday and asked where their post went, because they got this big picture that said something about the community standards of Facebook and this, that, and the other. It wasn't us. We're not doing it. It is Facebook. There, you may see this pop up. It does not mean, if you read it carefully, because the first time I read it, I thought, well, what did I post that was against the community standards? And then I reread it and I had just misread. But what it's saying, it's telling you and it's giving you a warning that if you post something that's against the community standards and we don't remove it, and then Facebook finds it, they're going to remove it. And if they have to remove it, then we're going to get a ding. And it's just that simple. The group admin is going to get dinged. That's me. I don't want any dings. So I want to keep our group safe and with no violations. And that's where we're at right now. None of my groups have any violations, and I want to keep it that way. So it's not that we're being mean or we're trying to control everything. We're not. We're just trying to keep a nice, safe, clean group for everybody. And the main thing one of the things that they're targeting are these news posts and copyright violations. So that's why I wanted to cover some of these things for you. And it tells you the terms, the laws, and ethics for using copyrighted images. Right. It's just kind of weird, because it's just weird things have been happening on Facebook, guys, and we don't have any control over a lot of it. So just bear with us. Things will get better. Like Jamie said, they're still working on the algorithms and stuff like that, and they'll get it worked out. So don't be alarmed if you get that pop-up. It's saying, it's not saying that you violated anything. It's saying if you do, that they may remove it, and you could get a ding and I could get a ding. You can find this picture, Susan, in the group files, in the Cricut Maker projects and Cricut Crafting. If it's not in the other groups, the Patreon group or the card group, I will pop it in there. So you guys just let me know. But if you go to group files, it says, can I use this picture? That's the title that you're going to be looking for. And I'm not going to run through all of these questions for you guys. You guys know how to answer your own question when you're dealing with an image, because there's so many scenarios, as you can see here. You just have to answer the questions for your image or your file or your photo that you have found. Now, that being said, you can use it for your personal use, but when you get out there and you start selling it or trying to distribute it on Etsy or wherever, that's where your trouble is going to come in, if it's not your image. Okay? That being said, the angel policy, because you can sell, Cricut has an angel policy where you can sell some of the things that you make from your design space. I mean, that's what we're all here for, is to craft and make things for ourselves, and some of us want to sell a few things. So if you go to the top here, these three lines, top left, and you click on it, you see legal under your settings here. Click on legal. So if you guys want to follow along with me, you can do that. And we're going to be playing with some of these designs, and I'll be giving you some links for designs so you can open them up and play with us. But that's all I did. I clicked on the three lines, and I've gone to legal, and then my legal pops up. And this is all the fine print of what's legal and not, with your terms of use and your terms and conditions and the end user license agreement, or the EULA, whatever you want to call it, and your privacy policy. But the main thing right here that we're going to talk about tonight is the angel policy. Okay? This, in general, is saying what you can and you cannot do with your design space images. You cannot copy them and take them out. I know a lot of you guys are like, oh, well, I just take a screenshot and I use that. That's perfectly fine for your own use, but when you start posting that in other places, you can get into some issues, because those images, this is the reason why we cannot export our files from Design Space and take them outside of Design Space. It's because we don't own those images, and it's just a fail-safe that they put in place so that their images stay in Design Space. Silhouette does it, Brother Scan and Cut does it, everybody does it. Okay, but what it means, and we're just going to touch on these because you guys are going to have to go and read it. I am not an attorney. I am just relaying where the information is that you can find and kind of trying to clarify it for some of you. But the angel policy gives you permission to, tells you what you can and cannot do with the images. You have your angel policy. These are the definitions for your copyright materials. What a finished product is. A finished product is not a screenshot of an image in Design Space. Okay? That is not a finished product. Okay? You can't mass produce and things like that. But you can do up to 10,000 finished products per year. Okay? But a finished product means if you've cut the word create and a bird and you've stuck it on a card and you're calling that card complete, that is a complete project. But if you cut 10,000 of those birds and you try to sell those on Etsy, that is not a complete product. It kind of is, but it kind of isn't. You're taking an image and trying to send it out there. If you try to take a screenshot of that image and sell it on Etsy, this is why I do not recommend Etsy shops for your SVGs, because they will go to free sites like Love's SVG, Design Bundles, all of these other sites, Creative Fabrica, Creative Market. They will go and get the freebie of the day. They will clean it up, and they will clean it up or make a slight change to it, and they will pop it in their Etsy shop and sell it, cutting that designer out of all their profits to that image. It's not right, and it's not fair. So you want to be careful when you're doing that. You can get into a lot of trouble. Love SVG has gone through Etsy, and they've nailed several people because they got caught. They got caught selling Love's SVG images. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to screenshot and take screenshots. You can do it for your own personal use and use Scout to clean them up and trace and make things for yourself, but you don't want to be doing that and distributing for sale. So just go in and read and the terms and conditions, and it will tell you and what it means. Anything with the green A you can use in a finished project, and you can sell that finished product. You can't just throw a bunch of pieces that will make a card into a bag and send that. That's not a finished product. So make sure you go in, read these. If you have trouble, if you're selling, I'm going to suggest that you have a business attorney. And this is why we don't offer business or any kind of business information in the groups, because we're not attorneys. We're not licensed to give out business advice. So you have to determine how far you want to go and skirt the rules. Personally, I would just abide by them and not do that. Keep in mind that even though you have this angel policy, things like Disney, Anna Griffith, Leah Griffin, all of those are licensed images, and they are, you can't even sell those at all. You're not supposed to be putting them on a finished project and selling them without a license from those people, and it does tell you all of that in here. So make sure you're reading your angel policy if you have any plans of selling, okay? And that's about as far as we're going to get into that, because this is something that you guys who are selling need to do on your own. But if you do have questions or it's a little gray area, we can try to help you understand it, but we're not going to say it's written in stone that we know for a fact that that is true. We're just not going to do that because we're not licensed to do that. So now let's have some fun. We have a lot of people making a lot. This is very popular. I've made it myself, but a lot of people are getting into the This Is Us and the Mom and the Yesy fonts and the I Love Glitter fonts being cut out of things. And one of the questions I had in a group, she was looking for this one, and I said, well, it's the Watermelon Script font, but I already have a file I've had for a while if you want it. And they were like, well, how did you share that? Because the Watermelon Script font is a system font, and that system font came from DaFont. As you can see, it's a demo. It's a free font. So they wanted to know how I shared an uploaded image. It's not really technically an uploaded image. If you look over in the layers panel right now, it's still text, okay? And if you look down here, my image info, it's faint, but I use the Watermelon font, and that's the Watermelon Script font. That's what I used. Now, of course, when you're making something like this, and all I did was type in This Is Us, and I changed it to that font, and then you're going to letter space and bring it all in like you want it. And then what I did is I advanced and ungrouped to letters. And then I've taken the first word and I've welded it. Now watch in your layers panel what happens to that text when I weld it. It's come into a weld result, and now it's one layer instead of two letters. See how all these others are separate letters? Now it's not text, it's actually an image. So I'm going to take the next one and I'm going to weld it also, and now it is an image. And then I'm just going to place this. I think I did enlarge mine just a little bit. Then I'm going to weld that one. And then I'm going to space them out like I want to have them. Select them all and weld. And now I have one image. And I'm going to save it. Technically, it's an image. It is not an uploaded image. It is an image that I have created inside Design Space with a system font. Okay? What happens when I try to share this is nothing. You guys can open it. I'm going to give it to you here. You can click on that and you can open this design. But what happens if I don't weld that text and you don't have that font? And let's just say I'm going to type Watermelon Script Demo, because that is what it is, and it's kind of big, and I'm not going to worry about putting all of those together. Not demon, demo. I can't type, guys, but you know that. So, all right, so what happens now if you don't have that? I'm going to save it. And now when you guys try to open it again, if you have the Watermelon Script Demo font, it's going to open right up for you. You're not going to have any problems. If you don't, you're going to get a pop-up, and it's going to tell you, this font was used. You need to download that font, or it's going to change that to the default font of Cricut Sans, or something close. It might put it on Arial, but it's going to change that font. So it does give you a warning, and it does tell you, unless they've taken that out in the last updates, what happens if you try to open it when that is in there and you don't have it. It's going to give you a pop-up and tell you this is the font used. You need to download that font, or it's going to change it for you. It's not going to change this one because it's welded and it's an image. This, however, is text, and it is showing as that font. So that's what happens. So there's no trick or anything like that to doing it. If you upload an image into the file that I've uploaded, which there's one. Ooh, that's awfully big, isn't it? Let me change that stuff. If I were to save this in here, or try to save it, watch what happens. Now I get the warning. If you get that warning and you save it, that means you cannot share that file anymore, because that's an uploaded image. That image came from Katie Catherine, and I don't have permission to share it. So Design Space isn't going to let me share it. Okay? And the reason that you can do it with fonts and you can't do it with images is because it will be able to change that. Where it can't change that image, it can change this to a different font for you that is a System or a Cricut font. And that's why. So I hope that that clarified that issue for everybody. So just play with it. Just remember, if you have a commercial license for like Samantha Font and you purchase the commercial license, you can come in here and you can design it. Now if you want to sell that and take a screenshot of it and sell it, as long as it doesn't have any Design Space images in it, then you can do that because you have a commercial license to sell that font. I don't have a commercial license to sell this Watermelon Script demo font because this is not even the premium font, it's just a demo. And usually the demo means there are no extras, or the numbers or the symbols won't work. So the next thing that we have a lot of questions on is finding fonts. Okay? This was one that somebody said, you know, does anybody know what this font is? Well, I don't really, but I do know it looks kind of cartoon. Could I show where it was after I weld it? Sure. Let me come in here and type it, Sue, since I already closed that one. Well, I can do it on this. If you right click in your layers panel, even if it's text, okay, this is Farm Fresh. This is one I downloaded. And you right click down here at image info. I doubt you guys are going to be able to see it on this screen, but if you look on your computer screens and you get close, it's going to say Farmhouse Script right here. So it will tell you, it's grayed out, but it will tell you. It's with an image, it's not grayed out. Let's see. See how the image info pops up here black? It's popping up in there, but it's just grayed out. And I think that they're working on that. Okay. Yeah, see, Brenda, and that's because it's going to change it to Arial because you don't have the Watermelon Script font. Now, if you have the Watermelon Script font downloaded, Brenda, you won't get that message when you try to open that file. You just have to download it. That's all. If you don't have it, then it can't put it there for you. And that's basically what it's saying. But always you can right click and get your image info right here in the panel. But like I said, your fonts are grayed out, even the Cricut fonts. It doesn't matter if this is a Cricut font right here. And you can see it's grayed out too. I think that's a Cricut font anyway. I could be wrong. Who knows? I know that this one is. See, yeah, the Cricut one's grayed out too. But you can, even if they're welded or they're not welded, you can still tell what font you used. And there is another place where you can tell what font you used. When you name it, if you click on the name of your file at the top, right here, this drop down arrow, and it will tell you everything in there. And see, this one's a purchase. I think it's going to show you all of them except, yeah, it's not going to show you my farmhouse font, but you can find it when you click on it in the layers panel. But everything else is in there. So did that clear it up for you, Brenda? I already closed that file, but I could probably open it again. Let's see. I'm going to open it over here. See, I have it in there. Now, if I take that out, then you won't get that message. But as long as that is in there, this is the one that's causing you to get that message because I didn't weld it. This one's welded. It's not giving you that message. If I weld this one and then you try to open it, you won't get the message because now it's an image and not text. So if you want to try it again now, let me save it. Then you should be able to open it without getting the message that it's going to change it to the Arial font unless you download your watermelon script. Okay, so fonts and finding that font. Where did my little preview go? There are a couple of things, guys, when you're asking about a font. Number one, this could be the actual font, okay? Number two, it may not be the actual font. The actual font may be solid. They may have used shortcuts a lot, gone in, done a shadow layer, did a knockout, and just used the outline. So there are several things to look for when you're looking for a font, and that's one of the things you need to be aware of. Another thing that you want to be aware of is sometimes they use all the lowercase over here, and then your cap letter or your starting letter could be a totally different font. So you want to look for that. And the easiest way to do that, and this says "This Mama Really." So how am I going to look for that font and see if I can find it? The first thing you want to do when you're over here on font, this is how it looks when you open it up. And you're just going to see all the fonts and you're going to start looking, and here are all of the categories. You can look for in these and these down here, but to me this is easier. To me that's a cartoon type font or a comic type font. So that's where I'm going to begin looking. And I'm going to come over here to the fancy and click on cartoon. Now watch what happens. You see that it refreshed that page? Look what popped up when I did that. A preview tool. So what am I going to type in there? I'm going to type in exactly what I'm looking for. So "This Mama Really," I'm going to type that in, and it is all in caps. So I'm going to type "This Mama Really." And then I'm just going to leave. I don't change any of this, and I just hit submit. And watch what happens. It refreshes again. Now I can see all the fonts. I'm covering up chat. I can see all the fonts as I'm looking with my photo right there in front of me to see if anything comes close to matching up. And look here. Here we go. We've got one there that's close. This one has lowercase in it, but it's going to give you that visual to make it easier for you to find the font that you're looking for. It gives you that visual look. That's close. That's not it, but that's close. Let's pop it up. But you see how much easier it is to find a font when you're looking for the exact phrase you put in there? That's going to make it a lot easier for you guys. It really is. Let's just go to another page. But you can see with it there to visually look at, you can scroll a lot faster and just stop when it gets to something that looks similar or close. And you can search, this has 100 pages in the cartoon section. You can search 30 or 40 pages pretty quick when you're doing it this way. But it's going to help you get close to your font. Now, like I said, this may be the font, and it may be solid like this Arco is here, and they may have done a knockout. And I've covered that in other videos, but basically what you do in Escal is you're basically going to create a shadow layer, and then you do a knockout or a pierce. There are several ways to do it. There's about 5 different ways to do it and come up with that outline type font in Design Space. So when you're looking and asking about a font like this, just remember, it may not be what you're looking for. It could be totally solid and be knocked out. It just depends on how the designer or the creator of this shirt decided to use their font. But that's one way that you can go in and get in there easily and look. Right, Ann? I can't either. Right now I'm backlogged. I've got 8 cups. I just did finish an order of cards. I finished that. I have to make one of those chipboard jewelry boxes that I made last year. I've got one of those that I have to make for my sister's birthday, and I am so backed up. I can't really even think about selling anything right now. So it just really, to me, I make gifts and I share with you guys. I share my files, and like I have in the group rules, what we share in the groups and stuff is for your own personal use. We're not putting it out there for you to sell, because you need to research if you're going to sell something, if it's copyrighted or not. So, but does this clarify font searching for everybody? Also, DeFont isn't the only one with one of these guys. Let me go to, let's see. Let's go to Sofontsy. Sofontsy right here. Most all of them are going to have like a preview tool. Let me find a font. But you can come in, and when you click on these fonts, down here at the bottom, this one says what you get. This one does not. Okay, so Sofontsy doesn't have one. Let me see. Okay, here is font bundles. And if you go down to font bundles, and let's say you really like this font here, and you click on it, when you scroll down to the bottom, down here, you have a preview tool. So you can type in, oops, I'm on caps. Type in your text, and you can see what your text is going to look in that font. That's a font duo. That's a really nice font too. And what they mean by font duo, guys, you have one cursive, and then you have, well, not all. Some of them could all be just your regular print, and some can be your scripts. So, but a font duo means you get 2 different looks out of one font. And this is actually 3 because it has all the webdings and stuff with it. So is everybody clear on how to search for fonts? And hopefully that will help you be able to find your fonts a lot easier, a lot faster. Because when you come into the groups and ask, we don't mind helping. I love to look for fonts if I have time. But we don't always have time to look for fonts, so sometimes they get dropped off by the wayside, and I hate to see people sitting there waiting for somebody to tell them what font it is when they could have probably found it in a few minutes using preview tools. So make sure you guys utilize those tools. And also another tool with your fonts, if you have a photo of it, you can take a screenshot of it. And when you get that screenshot, you can go to what font is. And all you have to do once you're over here is I'm just going to slide my screenshot in there. And it might be, let's see, it wants me to check it. So I'm going to go in there and I'm going to type that is a capital C and hit continue. And now it's going to give me some list of fonts that it thinks it is. And look at there, the Farm Fresh script font. Now, how did it know that? But you have to have a good image of it. Sometimes you might have to crop it, clean it up, type in the letter. But you see, it will find the font if you have a good image, because that's exactly what that font is. That's the Farmhouse script. I know you guys can't see it on there, but that's what it is. So it's a super quick, easy tool. And I usually use it first. And if it doesn't find it, then I go and use the preview tool on DaFont, because DaFont is free. It has some frees on there, but it also has the paid fonts. So if it finds it and it's not free, it will tell you where to get it. So DaFont's my second choice, and then I usually go to Font Bundles, and if I see something close, type it in and see if I like it. But that's what font is. And that's going to help you guys a lot with your fonts. So is everybody clear on those and how to do that? Anybody have any questions so far? You guys are quiet. Okay. The next thing that we want to cover, somebody was saying that they had seen a video, and I've done videos and shown this to you, but maybe using an image might help you guys a little bit more with welding and slicing and stuff like that. And some of you may have seen it, and this is kind of similar to what she had and what she created on her own, but these are Design Space images, and all I did was go to images and type in create, and it pulled that in. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go, and this is also a Design Space image. But you can see how they've put all of these fonts together to create an image. They're all touching, so it's going to cut as one piece, things like that. How do you come up with those looks? Guys, it's as simple as typing in your word and ungrouping to letters, just like this. And I went and got these letters earlier just to save time, but you guys, if you want this file, you're welcome to it. You can open it up and play along with me. And we're going to go searching for images, and we're going to create our own create. And we'll do something similar, but you can use any theme you want. You can use flowers and birds like she did in flourishes, or you can use turtles or puppies. Whatever it is you want to use to make yours, you can do that. So all I did was type in my word create, and I know this isn't on the Cricut Sans. Maybe that will help you guys too. So you type in your word, and then you're going to go to advanced in your font tools and ungroup it to letters. And that's going to make each one of them individual. And then after I did that, all I did was go in and like my C, go in and start looking for clear filters. I'm going to go to Cricut. Oops. And then I started looking for fonts. Now when I find one that I like or I think that I like, I click on it and it changes it, and then I duplicate that letter. And why do I do that? I do that so I don't have to go and look through all the fonts, especially when I get down here at the end. So I don't have to go in and look through all the fonts again. If I don't like that one, it's going to take me right back to where I was. So I don't have to go and scroll through all of those fonts to find out what place I was at. So I'm not repeating myself. And that's just a quick, easy design tip that you guys can use. If I don't like that, like I don't like that, okay? So I'm just going to duplicate it, and I'm going to go back, and it's going to take me right back there. What happens if I don't duplicate it and I change it back or just hit undo? Let's see if it's going to let me undo. Usually it does, but I'm running slow for some reason. Anyway, when I hit undo, it usually takes me back to the beginning. So instead of undo, I just duplicate it so I know where I left off in the list. And I'm not having to scroll all the way through everything that I've already gone through. You do the same thing, Sue? Yeah, it just makes it easier. I just duplicate it. That way I can delete the one I didn't like, and it takes me right back to where I was at. So that's just one little tip, but you're just going to go through and find fonts that you like. The one that she did had a solid C here, and I couldn't find that one in there, but it doesn't matter. I can take that and duplicate it and select them both and align center and then weld it. And now I can make it, because it's an image now. Remember, I couldn't weld it before because there was nothing to weld to it. But if I take two and weld them together, now I have contours available. And then I can hide the contours and get a solid. So, did everybody catch that, how that worked? See if I can undo. Undo. If you look at that C, and I don't want those in there, I don't have contour available because it's still text. I can't change somebody's text, okay? It's not going to let me. It's not going to give me that option. And you can do this with some images that don't give you the contour as well. But if I duplicate it and then select the two, align, center, and I weld it, this one is text, this one is an image. This one I can't contour, this one I can. So now I have the same shape without having to put in any shapes and weld onto it. Now you can do that too, whatever you want to do, whatever makes it easier for you. You can come in here and you can do you a shape and get it all lined up over that and do 5 or 6 shapes by duplicating them and twisting them and turning them until you have it all covered. Or you can just duplicate, align, and contour. And now I can weld that and I come up with the same thing. But you just see how much easier the contour is. A lot of people don't understand the contour, and it can be a little bit confusing, but it is so much easier once you get used to using it. So now we have our C. So now that we have our C, let's go ahead. We're going to create something similar to this. I'm going to get rid of this one. This was just an image that I had in there just to show you guys some samples of what you could do with your words. Now these will be separate because one is like a background, and then you have your separate 3 letters to put on top. So you can do that as well. If you're going to want to do this, guys, you need to duplicate your letters before you weld your final project together. So I've got my C, and this is what I mean. Let me ungroup that. If you're going to want to overlay and do a second color over that, you're going to need to duplicate those letters because they're separated. Because once you weld these together, you see how they all touch? The only contour you're going to get is to contour out the middle of the letters. That's all you're going to get. You won't be able to contour out those letters. So this is like an overlay. So if you're planning on doing that with half of your letters, duplicate them now so that you have, or after you've sized them, so that you have one that you can place over the top in a different color after you've welded your image. So we're just going to play around here and show you guys how to get that image. And here's an R that I found that I like. And you're just going to make them different sizes, and you want to line them up however you want them to look. I kind of like that down like that. There was another letter that was in hers. I kind of like that one that way. But it had like the ampersand, and it had, not ampersand. Oh, I lost my train of thought. The @ symbol. So, if you have this and you want to put that E in there, that's the way she had hers. How can you do that? You can go in, and this is where your slice comes in, guys. You can alter, and all I did, this is just text, where I just went in, clicked it, and made one. Let me unbalance and ungroup that to letters. Oops. Ungroup. There we go. So I want to put that E in there for the end of my word. I'm going to arrange, send that to the back. I would actually use mine as an A, but the way that they had it, it was an E. And I know that some people were asking about it, so this is how I would do it. So I'm going to slice that. And now I have that curly Q, and I can use the E with that. So I'm just going to duplicate this. I'm probably going to use a different E. And bring it in, and then get it to line up, and then weld. So there you have the E with that little slosh on the end. But myself, I really like the A in the middle. And then you can do your T, kind of like that. And oh, what the heck, we'll just use this. You can use whatever you want. I'm just going to use it since I already have it. Put it right there. And I'm going to select it all. Let's drop that C down since I've got it that way. Select it all and weld. And now I have an image that I've created. I'm just going to get rid of all this other stuff. I am not going to save this, guys, up here because I gave you guys the link so you could play along, and I want it to stay like it was so that you can practice doing that. Yes, it will be. It's okay, Denise. We still have lots of stuff to cover. So now we want to put some flourishes and stuff on it like they did. So we're going to go in and we're going to go to Image and type in flourish. And you'll see tons of stuff in here, guys. Pick something you like. That's all you need. Just pick something that you like. And I kind of like that one there, and I like this one. Whatever fits the image that you're doing, I'm just going to pick 2 or 3. There's some French ones too in there. These are close to the Yesy font right here. But yeah, just go in, start selecting some of the stuff. And I never just pick one. I always pick 2 or 3 things. And that way I can go in and play with them and see what I like. And if out of all I picked, I don't like any of them, I'll go get some more. I kind of like this one and this one. They kind of match together. I'm going to grab those 4. These are off the Vine Flourishes. Yep. So I'm going to grab those. And I'm going to insert my images. Bring them all in at one time. And then you can just ungroup. And you can play around. I'm probably going to use these vines. and stretch and do whatever you want and put them where you want. I'm going to keep that. I'm going to use that flower there, but you can go in and search flower, and I'm going to contour it. I'm going to hide all contours. And I just want that one piece. Do you see how I got just that one piece out of there? Does anybody need to see that again? Wing thing. Connie, you're so funny. Uh-oh, Cynthia's got the spinning wheel of doom. I'm showing excellent condition, guys. So, you might have to refresh, Cynthia. And I am getting new internet Wednesday, so hopefully that will correct anything that might be on my end. But yeah, I'm going to use these vines. Yeah, you can also unlock. Debbie is absolutely correct. You can unlock, and I'm going to show you some more of that in the next one. Unlock and skew your fonts and stuff. So you have lots of things that you can play with. But let's go ahead. Let me get rid of that. I'm going to use these vine ones. And they had taken a flourish, and I'm just going to flip that one and put up at the top of theirs. I like that, the way that's sitting, so I'm going to, and I'm only going to get part of it. Just going to weld that on, and I like the way that is, but I don't like that little bitty hole right there above my C, so I'm going to contour it out. Let's go up here and click on it, get rid of that, and now that hole's not there. Of course, in the real world, I would probably just readjust the whole thing, but you don't want any little bitty holes. This one I'm going to keep. And then let's say, maybe I like it flipped. There we go. I don't like that one, so I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to do mine a little bit different. Maybe do it this way. Just going to play around. Kind of like that. And I'm going to duplicate that. I may use that again. So I'm going to get those two, and I'm going to weld it. Oops, look what happened to my A. Do you see how it filled in? Let's just undo. This is why. Let me make it really big so you guys can see. You see how that little bit of that flourish is right there. It's right there, and it's right here. If it's inside there, it's going to do that. You can make it really big sometimes and fix that. And let's just move it over and weld it again. And now it won't do that. Okay? So once you've got that set, if that happens to you and your letters are filling in, because that was another thing that's been going on this week, that's how you fix it. You either have to move it or you have to make it really big and then weld it and then resize. And then they had also gone in and gotten like a bird. And I know I don't have the exact flourishes. They are in there. I look. They are Design Space images, guys. You're just going to have to look for them. And bring them in if you want to duplicate what she did or just create your own. I have a lot of fun just creating my own a lot of the time. I prefer to do my own. And what I'm doing right now is just a rush job. It's not anything that I would leave. I would probably change a few things. But I'm just trying to show you guys the concept and how to create your look. And she had a bird. I'm not sure. No, her bird had a vine. Oh, I like that one. That one's cute. Her bird had a vine, but it's not pulling up all my images right now, or either I passed it. I saw it in there. So I know it's in there. If you guys saw the create post and how she created it, that bird she used is in here with the vine. I just can't find it right now. So I'm just going to use the bird that I have. He's cute. And he kind of matches my vines. But I'm just going to stick him right there. And then I am going to weld that. And if you want to do vines up there for him to be standing on, you can do all of that. But I think I'm going to, I wanted to bring, I would actually make that bigger and let me arrange. Send that to the back so I can play here. I don't want it inside there. And then I think she had a flower on the end, but I kind of like my flourishes. I would have probably made this one bigger. So make sure that you have copies before you do all your welding, or you're going to have to undo because we cannot unweld. But you can undo and go back to the beginning and change things or add things or whatever that you want to do. But that's how you can create your own image. And if you look, let me get rid of all of this other stuff. I have one layer here and it's all welded. That was a shadow layer. Okay. That was a shadow layer on a font. Let me delete that. And then that's how you create an image from all the different fonts and images and combine them to come up with your own. And that would be cute on your machine or on a shirt, anything. So it's really easy. You're just going to have to go in and play around with it. Remember, Design Space is free. It doesn't cost you anything to play. If you don't have access, I encourage getting it because you never know, something like this might cost you $10 if you don't have access just to use the images. So, but if you don't have access and you have to purchase an image, it's a one-time purchase and you can use it all you want after that. So that's how you can go in and combine images to make one image. Is everybody good with that one? So we showed slicing and welding and contouring to make that image. So that covered a lot of those tools for you guys, as well as fonts. So next, the wheels on the bus. Somebody was asking, how do you get the flourishes? I've got these other things on there. I'm going to go over this one first. How do you make those flourishes? And they had like the 3 lines. Guys, this is a free image in Design Space, and it's called a droplet. Right here. If you search droplet, it's free, and you can use that. If you ungroup it, and this is what somebody was saying something about skewing before. Who was that? Hi, Miss Sheila. You can make your images, and you can use either one depending on how big of a point you want. You can get this image, and then you can rotate it. I'm going to rotate this 90 degrees, and I am going to unlock it. And when you unlock an image, if I don't unlock it, it's going to stretch and it's going to move and it's going to stay in proportion, okay? But the minute I unlock it and start doing things, I can change it. So I'm going to lock that one back that way, and I'm just going to take it down and make it smaller. And then I'm going to duplicate it a couple of times. Well, actually, one time. And then I'm just going to make that one a little bit smaller, and I'm going to rotate it a little bit. And I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm going to bring that one up here, and I'm going to rotate it just a little bit. Get it like I want it, and I'm going to get the 3, and I'm going to weld. I'm going to duplicate it. I am going to flip it. And guess what? Now I have those flourishes that you guys are seeing around some of the word art. Like maybe hello. Oop. And let's see. Let's put that into Magnolia Sky. Bump it down with my tools, closing those spaces. weld it. Align vertically, weld, and now I have my own, this might show up better in black for you guys. Now I have my own word art with my own flourishes. Yeah, it was Deb Sheets. Thank you, Sue. So you can use those shapes to create just about anything you want. All you need to do is get something that's close or looks close, and you can create just about anything you want. Very easy, very super simple. I'm just going to slide this down out of the way for right now and show you guys how you can use shapes to create just about anything you want. And this is probably, I've got one more to show you guys after this. You might look at this and you just see a bunch of shapes in the letter C. I'm looking at that and I'm seeing a cup, and I'm going to show you guys how to do it. Some of you may have seen the little cup cards during the winter time that they use for a card, and they put the cocoa and everything in it. This is how you create it. Now this is a shape. You can create your own oval. I just got this one because it's going to be quicker for me, but you can skew a circle and do that. And make your own oval. So in order to do that, let me just arrange and move this to the front. If I can remember how to do it. Align, center, not center, center horizontally. I do that frequently. Align. Nope, I'm almost messing up. I am going to skew it. There we go. There we go. And I've just made my oval. I just unlocked it and made myself a little oval here. I'm going to place it over the top, and then I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to keep one. I'm going to do another one. And bring it right down there. Does everybody see a cylinder there? And you're just going to take those and you're going to weld. And I didn't get that quite center, but you're going to make sure you get it center and it's all flat and even. And then I'm going to duplicate that. And I'm going to bring it over on this side. And I'm going to get those two. I'm going to align them to the top. And I am going to weld. And then you can use, I'm going to use this one. And let's come over here, arrange, move this to the front. I'm going to ungroup it. And that's just a ring. Don't need that. I just need these pieces. And I'm going to make, there we go. I don't need that piece either. So I'm just going to take this one. And you can slice this either way that you want. I'm going to leave that one there. I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to come over here, and I am going to slice these two. I'm going to get rid of that one. And that's so when this card is folded, this gives it like a lip, because we're going to put a score line down the middle. Oops. You're going to put a score line right here down the middle once you're finished. Arrange, send it to the back. And then this will be your colored piece for like your cocoa or your coffee. You would change that to whatever colors that you wanted there. That's going to fill in that center. So when it's closed, this lip is over it to make it look like an actual cup, but we need a handle. And the easiest thing I did, I use the impact font a lot for shapes. I'm going to flip this. Let's see. Flip it horizontal, bring it in, probably going to make it a little bit smaller. I want these two to be inside there, and weld. So now I have a coffee cup, and I can make it a card. I can do anything that I want to do with that, and all I used were some basic shapes. Send that to the back. Put my score line down the middle and attach. I don't want to get that. Let me make that so you guys can see it. You can't see the score lines on that gray. There we go. So now you have your little coffee cup. So how easy was that? Just super simple. Wasn't anything, I didn't have anything on there but an oval, a circle, a square, and the letter C, and a score line. And out of that, we've created a card. So when you fold this over, then you can put whatever you want on the front. Now, if you wanted to write on the front, all you're going to do is flip it horizontal, because that's going to be the coffee that goes on the inside. And you can have it right on whatever side that you want it to write on. Of course, you want your handle in the right spot, but you can flip them. You can do whatever you want with that. And this one's not perfect, guys. Take your time when you're designing, but we've got a lot to cover, and we've been on for quite a while. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys understood that when you look at your shapes, put them together. Throw some shapes together in there and see what you can see out of it. You might see a circle and a square, and you might see a cup. You might see anything. But play. I'm glad you guys are learning some things. But it's a lot of fun to go in here and design. So something like this, and then you want to cut and you want to go and you can sell it. You created this from your own. It wasn't anybody's design. It didn't start out as somebody else's cup and then you added a couple of embellishments to it and called it yours. You can actually make your own absolute design from scratch in Design Space without any other programs. So that covers that, using shapes and to create a total design from just your basic shapes right here, and all of them are free. Then I had another request, and I want to, let me see, who asked me for the, Barbara. Was Barbara. I hope Barbara's here. I hope she's watching. Barbara wanted to know how they were making the graduate, and I've just got the hashtag because that's what she wanted. But you can put class of and put your graduation cap up here over the 2 if you want, and do all sorts of things. Yeah, flower pot from shapes, Cynthia. There's tons and tons and tons of things that you can do with shapes. You can slice them and get just about anything you want, or weld. But she wanted to know how they are putting the graduates' pictures in there. And I don't have any graduates this year, but here's a little cap that you could use. But I'm going to get this, I'm going to get a couple of graduate pictures. And I'm just going to save these on my desktop. And so that I can show you guys how they're doing this. I do have, I'm having a hard time here. It doesn't want to let me get that picture. I want that picture. Save images. There we go. And I'm going to put that on my desktop. I'm just going to use 2. You can, if you have a graduate or somebody that you know, then you're going to be using those photos. And I'm just going to upload so that I can, oops. You're going to go to upload, and then you're going to upload patterns, guys. This is where you're going to be. And then you're going to browse or drag and drop your photo in there. I can't delete these after. Hopefully they come up with something, but it's okay. I'm just going to leave that in there. It's a Shutterstock, and I'm going to save it. You want to name and tag and do all of that so that you can find them later. I'm not going to do that with these and take that time. And I'm going to upload another pattern. You see that it doesn't show it to me. And that's because it is a pattern I'm uploading. Patterns can take a little bit more time, okay? So you see that there's nothing over here to show me where that pattern is, but it's there. You'll get that flash and it's there. So I'm just going to hit cancel, and I'm going to come over to my text. And I did put this in as text, and I did use my letter space and got them kind of close together. When you're doing this, you want them close if you can get them. And I changed it to the impact font. Any fat font will work, but you need some girth to it in order to put to make these work. Sometimes you can bold them up. Some of them will bold, and some of them won't. It won't change anything. And I'm just going to weld that. Oops, no, I'm not. I was going to do it two different ways, and I forgot. Okay, I'm going to duplicate it. One I'm going to weld, and one I'm not. So what you can do, I'm going to advanced and ungroup one to lines. You can come in, and this hashtag is what she was wanting to use. I don't think that that hashtag would work that well, but you can do it if you want. You're going to go up to your fill up here, and you're going to change this to print. Hey, Pat, sorry you had to work. It'll be available on playback. We've covered lots of stuff tonight. But you're going to change that to print, and then you're going to go in here and color to a pattern. And we're looking for the photos that we uploaded, or your photos, and you're going to select them. And now it's going to bring that in to the photos. And you see if you've welded or you attached. This one I haven't welded or done anything to. This is just my text. You can come in and... Oops. I didn't want to do that. I took it off. There we go. I'm going to put that back in there. There we go. And I'm going to go to... What happened to our edit patterns? That's weird. I think the last update, Jamie may have messed up our patterns. Uh-oh. Anyway, usually you can go in and you can, that's just weird. You can go in and go to pattern, select your pattern. Let me see, maybe it's just that photo. I don't know. It's not giving me an option to edit my pattern. That's something we've got to report, guys. You're supposed to be able to edit patterns at this point to stretch them and skew them, and it's not allowing us to do so. I don't know why. I'll have to go in and send a screenshot and let Anna know that we're not able. I did that. I am on that. It's right here. It's grayed out on everything, no matter what I'm picking. That's just weird. I've never had that happen before. Let's see that one. That one's hard to see because it put it in there. I go to pattern. I should be able to click on edit pattern, and I can't. So there's more than one way to skin a cat. I ungrouped all of these because myself, I would like individual photos. So what I would do is duplicate this, Barbara, if you're watching, and align, center, and I would weld and contour and hide all contours and get a solid 0 and do the same thing with my 9. and then contour and hide all contours. That way I can get more of a photo in there. Hopefully it's going to let me put it in there, and I'm not going to be able to adjust it though. And print. No fail. Print. Pattern. This is just weird. Our edit pattern is gone. I wonder if I reboot. Okay. I don't have the spinning circle. Okay. And then I'm going to select her photo. My circles are gone. They're not spinning. Ah, there it is. Okay. Maybe it just didn't like it. I'll go in and do it again. Now we have edit pattern. And all I'm going to do is come over here and scale this, guys, until you have the photo in there the way that you like it. I kind of like that. And then we're going to go and get the other one. Let's see if it lets us do it with that one. Print. Click on the color. Go to pattern. Stop spinning. Good idea, Jamie. I don't know what, it's never done that with me before, even when it was spinning. I don't know why. And then edit. Maybe the update caused that. And I kind of like the way that that is in there. You can move it horizontal. You can flip it, whatever you need to do. I want to flip that. There we go. But that is how you pattern fill the numbers so that you can get them in there of all their classmates or just them, however you want to do it. You can do it that way. Let's try it Jamie's way with just the text. Maybe it's because I didn't have it welded, Jamie. Hopefully that's what it was. But you can fill all your numbers, do all of that. Let's go to print, get the color, go to pattern. See, it's great. That's what it is, Jamie. It's because I don't have it welded. They've changed that. So let me weld my letters or my numbers, and now let's try it. Yep, have to weld it. And then you can adjust and play. So if you've got like a group photo and you're trying to get their faces and stuff like that in there, this is just one photo of one person, so. But you can get it adjusted like you want. And you see how if that hole was filled in, you would see more of her face. And that's what I did down here. So there's a couple of ways that you guys can do it. Yeah, it didn't, I've done it before where I didn't weld it and it worked fine, but now we have to weld it. So make sure that you've got them lined up if you're doing them that way. Personally, I would just ungroup to single letters and just do each one individually with all of my photos. Pattern. Spinning, that's a big one. But you can go in and create, I think see, that one's still not letting me. And that one's just a single photo. May depend on image. Who knows? I didn't weld that letter. It was on its own. Maybe it's the font. Yeah, I like having a different picture in each number myself. And even the hashtag, can hide that out and go in. I think it looks better myself, it looks more proportioned out. And patterns can take a little while to load. That's what it is. You can't do it on text without it being welded now for some reason. But yeah, you just go in and play with it, guys. But that's how you get your photo in your font. And now you're having to weld your letters before you can do it, but you can do it. So you could do patterns in one and just do their picture in another. So you could do all sorts of different things, cut it out of patterned iron-on, except the one, and do it printable with their picture. That would be really cute too. So, hopefully that answered that one for Barbara. Does anybody else have any questions at all? Anything that they need help with? I know that this tutorial has run a little bit long, but we've had a lot of new people this week and a lot of different design questions with Design Space. So I wanted to make sure that I covered and answered everything for everybody. So now you guys have some new tools to work with and to play with and learn to play. So make your coffee cup files using shapes and get used to that and how they work and how they lay out. Even try to cut some on some scrap cardstocks and stuff. See where you need to make adjustments and things like that. And for all of you guys asking about that Yesy font, that is the one that a lot of people are using now. And let me get that for you guys. That is the Yesy font right there. If you guys need it, that is the one that they're using to split the mom word or the grandma and all of that stuff. So Dad's Day is coming up. You might want to use a more masculine font for that one, but it will still work for the This Is Us and everything else. Oh, thank you, Cynthia. As long as somebody's learning something, it really does inspire me because I want you guys to get in there and jump in there and learn. You're going to make mistakes and things are not going to cut right, but that's how you're going to learn and how to adjust and what you need to do in your design files to fix it. Large images. Yes, I do, Anita. When you're doing large images, and you need to do larger than the mat, what you're going to do, let me just get an image. I'm just going to pick something. It may not be a butterfly, but I'm just going to pick something. Let's say that you wanted to do this and you wanted it to be, what did you say, 24 by 24? And are you talking about for print and cut, or just to make it larger? Yes, Anita, I do in Escal, and I will cover some more Escal. I'm going to try to cover some more Escal next week for you guys. And we're just going to pretend, just so that you guys can see on screen, that I have this set up to be 24 by 24, okay? And we know that our cut area is 11.5 by 11.5 or 11.5 by 24. If it's out of vinyl, so what you're going to do, if you need to make it larger than the mat, I can't do that without doing it. Let me just make it 23.5. No, actually 24. You're right. 24. And I'm going to shrink it down. So you guys, okay, now we have it set up 24 by 24, but our mat, our maximum cut height is 11.5. And if you're doing this out of vinyl, then you can go 23.5. So that's my maximum cut area right there. That's never going to fit. So I have to cut it and piece it. So basically what you're going to do is find a good point to cut, and I don't want to cut into that 9. So I would probably cut this image. I don't know, you have to check it and see. With this one myself, I would probably cut it right here, but I'm going to duplicate that. You're going to have to slice it. And then this is going to be mat number 1. Okay, and then you're going to have to slice. See, that one doesn't fit in there. So you're still going to have that piece. I probably should have put it further over. You're going to have to slice this one out and have mat number 2. This was a really bad image to try to pick this with. And then you're going to put in some registration marks. And what I mean by that is like a star. Let's just pretend I've got it all sliced up like I want it. But I do have a video on this somewhere. You're going to get a star, and you can put it wherever you've got that space that you're going to use. And I'm going to duplicate those. So now I have these 2 stars here, and I'm going to weld. That's what I did wrong. Let me get rid of that. And then I'm going to duplicate them, and I'm going to line those up. I just want my stars. There we go. Align, center, just the stars. And I'm going to change one set to purple, whatever color you want, and then change your top layer. It doesn't matter as long as you have them. And I'm going to select those and weld it. And I'm not moving anything. I'm going to line that one up where it would line up to make. I'm going to slide that out of the way, and then I'm going to select those 2 and weld. So now when I cut these are going to go to 2 different mats, okay, so that I can cut them. But when I go to place them, I have those stars as a registration mark to align so that I can get it to line up perfectly. So that's how you're going to do bigger than the mat. And the same thing with print and cut, except your print and cut area is 6.75 by 9.25 rather than the 11.5 by 23.5. Yes, you can do the same thing, Anita, on a 12 by 12 mat. It's just that when you go to slice up your large image, because you're going to size your image to the size you want. If it's 36 by 36, that's fine. You can do a 36 by 36. But you're going to change your cut area. If you're using a 12 by 12 mat, your cut area is going to be 11.5 by 11.5, meaning that you're going to have to slice up your 36 by 36 image with that 11.5-inch square. And then you're going to have to go back and put in registration marks for each one. And you are going to have some lost space on your vinyl. But I mean, you can usually, you know, when you're doing a large project, you're just going to have loss. That's all there is to it. You can probably have gotten, I should have probably put those registration marks right here, and then I wouldn't have as much wasted space. But I was just showing you just to give you the gist of how to do it. Well, the reason we use stars, Anita, is because you can use a circle, but a circle is round. And if you're slightly twisted on your piece, your second piece, you can't tell. The same with the squares and stuff. The star gives you 5 points of reference to help you keep it straight, where a circle or a square may not do that. A square may look just slightly off, but it only gives you 2 points of reference across the top of the square. With a star, you get all 5 points. Okay, guys, I really didn't mean for this video to go this long, but I'm glad that you guys got to join me, and thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, patrons. Thank you, moderators. If you guys still have questions, we'll be live again. I'm going to try to do another live this week just at random. It'll probably be Wednesday or Thursday. I'm not sure yet. It's life allowing. So depending on what goes on this week, if I have time, I will do another one. So that being said, if you still have questions or anything that we didn't get to, ask in the groups and we'll cover them, and I'll make a list and we will cover them next week just to be sure that you're clarified on them. You guys have a wonderful night. I thank you for joining me, and I will catch you on the next live. And happy after Mother's Day to everybody. I hope you had a great day yesterday.